Okay, so this is a teaching about Chanukah. And the amazing thing about Chanukah is that everyone, all Jewish people, know about Chanukah and celebrate Chanukah, even if there's other holidays that they may not know about, Shavuos or things that are a little bit less known. Chanukah, we find if you're Jewish, you know about it and you observe it, which is, and not only do we observe Chanukah, not only does every Jew know about Chanukah and observe Chanukah, but every Jew observes Chanukah in the most mehudar way. If you look in the Gemara, if you look in the Talmud, where it speaks about the holiday of Chanukah, what do you find? And this may not even be so well known, but so I'm starting off with this first piece of paper that says mitzvah on the top. The actual mitzvah, the actual commandment to light the Chanukah menorah on Chanukah, the mitzvah itself is 1 lamp per household, which means night number 1, in order to fulfill the basic mitzvah, 1 candle. That's all that's necessary. There could be many, many people in the house, just 1 candle. Night number 2, all I need is 1 candle. Night number 3, only 1 candle. For 8 nights, every single day, all I need a total of 8 candles. That's it to fulfill the most basic mitzvah of lighting the Chanukah menorah. But we're not satisfied with that. The next level up is called mehadrin. Mehadrin means an advanced. There's an advanced option. The advanced option is 1 lamp per person per household, which means night number 1. So let's say we're saying that it's interesting because we know that a man, obviously, when he lights the menorah, he has his family in mind, for sure his wife in mind, ishta kivesei, right? And the boys from the age of chinuch, they could light as well. But very interesting. When I was a little girl, the Rebbe spoke that even girls under Bas Mitzvah should light their own menorah. So we would light, yes. So everyone has their custom, but I remember as a young girl, also having the privilege of lighting the menorah. It wasn't just a boy man thing.
Very much family. I'm the youngest. I always felt like never room in the sukkah for the girls.
Right.
So if there was an empty seat, I took it. Just like every opportunity to light the menorah.
Amazing. It's very, very interesting. Before we continue, just I was in another chat where women are learning sichos of the Rebbe. And I saw a reference to a sicha about Shabbos candles and Chanukah candles, which we learned 2 years ago. And the question over there was, if I only have enough money to light either Shabbos candles or Chanukah candles, Shabbos candles takes precedence. And that whole teaching is all about girls lighting Shabbos candles even from the age of 3. I could share that as well as a refresher, which we learned. Okay, so going back to this teaching, so from the level of Mahadrin, which is in a more advanced level than just the basic mitzvah, if let's say there are 5 men/boys in the house or girls, however many people is customary in your family to light. Let's say there are 5 people in the house that would like to light the menorah. So on night number 1, how many candles would be lit? You tell me. 5. If it's 1 lamp per person per household. This is the advanced level. Night number 2, there are 5 people in the house. How many candles are going to be lit?
10.
5.
Why 5?
1 per person.
Okay.
So what we do is we do mehadrin min mahadrin. That's what we do. And every Jew does Mahadrim and Mahadrim. This is what we actually do. It's incredible that not just a Hiddur mitzvah, not just an advanced, but we do the most advanced way of lighting the menorah. That's what everyone does. We don't have. So there are plenty of menorahs in our house. Yeah. Practically speaking, the girls over bas mitzvah don't actually light in my house, but the girls under bas mitzvah do, and all the boys and so the reason why the girls under bas mitzvah do light is the Rebbe spoke a special sikha at that time, wanted to bring even more light into the world. So the younger girls did. The older girls and the women are really yotze from their father, from the husband in the house.
So why not light? It's interesting because the Bible just on to the mother lights Shabbos candles. She's also like to everyone, but the girls always light. So I'm curious to know.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Felt like it's just a mitzvah, so why not bring in more light?
It's a good question. I have to ask. Yeah, something to think about.
It's not sneeze. I was so upset. I told her I wasn't sure. She her teeth. So that girls don't light. She was like 5 or 6 when she learned that. Maybe girls don't light because if you're standing at the window lighting, someone might see you and it's not.
Are you serious? What?
Also, Israel, they light outside. Yeah. Someone last year.
Well,
And shouldn't they have a box? They have a box that candles shouldn't go.
Lubavitch does not do it before Hesed.
So we do we don't do by the window. We do by the door. Very interesting when hugging.
But I'm saying, but the door doesn't necessarily have a window.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. But in general, men put on tefillin and the women don't put on tefillin. And it's fine because when you realize that a man and a woman are both 2 parts of the same neshama, then whatever the man does, the man has a field to learn Torah, and the woman might be staying home and watching the children while her husband is learning Torah, but she gets a schar as well. So it's a partnership. It's a partnership that everything that the husband does, he's doing for his wife, and everything that the wife is doing, she's doing for her husband. Okay, but we should find out, the teenage girls, what the deal is.
Because that doesn't explain why Dafka under bas mitzvah it's okay to light. In
Yeah,
other words, it doesn't explain that.
That doesn't explain that, but there was a special situation where we needed more and more light in the world. So the Rebbe encouraged even young girls to light. Because always the boys always lit, even young boys under bar mitzvah for chinuch. But
It wasn't always like that.
it wasn't always like that.
No, because people couldn't afford to do it.
Growing up,
Correct.
only my father would.
Also me.
Wow.
We all lit.
And then, I come from a Yerushalayim background. You couldn't.
Right.
So that's why that's another one of the
candles.
reasons why Shabbos candles, why girls stopped lighting Shabbos candles is because there wasn't enough money. But today, when there is plenty of money,
Right.
that's why they're encouraged that the girls from the age of 3 should start lighting Shabbos candles. Okay. So in any case, if we're going to just the Mehadrin level, it's important to understand these levels for later on in the teaching. So the mitzvah is 1 candle per household. Mehadrin, 1 step up, an advanced level, is 1 lamp per person per household, which means that any night of Chanukah, doesn't matter, 1 through 8, it's all equal. There are 5 people in the house that are lighting. It's going to be 5 candles per night. It's really, the mitzvah is 1 candle per household. Now you have 5 people, so each person is lighting 1 candle per night. Then we have the next highest level is Mehadrin Mina Mehadrin, which is the most advanced level. And there are 2 opinions about what Mehadrin Mina Mehadrin would look like. There's Beis Hillel and there's Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel says that we should always increase in the candles or in the oil, in the lamps, And Beis Shammai says that we should decrease.
Mm-mm.
So what is the rationale? What is the rationale? Why does Beis Hillel say that every night we should add another light? And why does Beis Shammai say that every night it should be one less? So according to Beis Hillel, night number 1 is you light 1 candle. Night number 2, 2 candles. Night number 3, 3 candles. Beis Shammai says night number 1 is 8 candles. Night number 2 is 7 candles. Night number 3 is 6 candles. So what is their rationale, Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai, for either increasing or decreasing the amount of candles? So there are 2 opinions. So now if you're following along in this chart, it says if you want by increase or decrease, you could write under increase, you could write Beis Hillel, and under decrease, you could write Beis Shammai, because those Beis Hillel is the one that says increase, and Beis Shammai is the one that says to decrease. Now, the question is, why increase or decrease? What is the rationale behind it? So there's 2 different opinions. And then later on, those 2 opinions, the Rambam goes along with opinion number 1 in the Gemara, and Tosfos goes along with opinion number 2. And opinion number 1 is, why is it that every day I should add another candle? So very simply, to know how many days are yet to come. That's according to Beis Shammai. So if I, on the first, according to Beis Shammai, the first night I light 8, and the first night I light 8, and that's a hint that reminds me that there are 8 nights of Chanukah. Night number 2, I light 7 to tell me that I have 7 nights left, 7 days left, 6 days left, 5 days left, 4 days left, to tell me how many days left. Okay. How many days I have left, or how many days are yet to come? Okay, I'll just use the language that I wrote here. How many days are yet to come? So on the first time when I'm lighting 8 candles, how many days are yet to come? I have 8 days yet to come. The night number 2, I have 7 days yet to come, 6 days yet to come, 5 days yet to come. So I want to know how many days are yet to come according to Beis Shammai, and therefore I am decreasing every night. According to Beis Hillel, to know how many days have passed, 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed, 4 days passed, that's opinion of Beis Hillel, and therefore every day I increase a candle. That is opinion number 1. Why am I increasing or decreasing? Because I want to know how many days of Chanukah passed or how many days of Chanukah have yet to come, whether I'm following Beis Hillel or Beis Shammai. Opinion number 2 says it has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with the days of Chanukah, with how many days, with which number day of Chanukah it is. A totally, completely different reason that's unrelated to Chanukah. And it's so unrelated to Chanukah that the proof and the source is coming from the Torah, and Chanukah is only midrabanan. Chanukah was instituted by the sages, so it's completely unrelated to Chanukah. Why is it that we should decrease every night to do less and less? Because it happens to be a different holiday, the holiday of Sukkot. There were bulls that were brought as sacrifices. I believe it was to correspond to the 70 nations of the world. And every day they brought a certain amount of bulls, and the next day was less and less and less. So yeah. A bull is a male cow. Yeah, no, it has to be kosher. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to. Yeah. Otherwise, great question. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be brought as a carbon. So there's a different holiday unrelated to Chanukah where we see in the Torah that the bulls were decreased every day, and therefore because we have these bulls that decreased every day, therefore the Beis Shammai says we're lighting the menorah every night, go less and less and less. That's Beis Shammai's opinion. Beis Hillel says you should increase, but it has nothing to do with what day Chanukah is. You should increase every day, do more and more. Why? Because there's a concept, there's a concept that we know, it's called Ma'alim B'Kodesh. We always have to increase in the matters of holiness. And it comes from Menachos, and it gives its source, and so it has nothing to do with Chanukah. Either decrease because of the bulls, or increase because you have to increase in holiness. That's why we're decreasing and increasing candles. It has nothing to do with Chanukah. Those are the two different opinions. So now the question is, okay, I understand. The base mitzvah is 1 candle per night per house. I only need a total of 8 candles for the whole Chanukah. That's the base mitzvah. I understand that Mahadran is that goes according to how many people are living in the house. So if there's 5 people in the house, each person just lights 1 every night. 5 people in the house, 5 candles every single night is the same. Mahadran, this is a brand new concept, a beautiful way of fulfilling the mitzvah, the best way ever, and that is either increasing or decreasing. Great. Increasing or decreasing, now the next question is increasing or decreasing what? Am I increasing and decreasing the base mitzvah? Which means the basic mitzvah is 1 candle per night. So if I have to increase that, then night number 1, I light 1. Night number 2, I light 2. Night number 3, I light 3. And it doesn't matter how many people are in the house, because I'm just increasing or decreasing based on the basic mitzvah. Or is the increase-decrease based on the advanced level of Mahadran, which is that it goes according to how many people are in the house. So if there's 5 people in the house, then night number 1, there's going to be 5 candles. Night number 2, there's going to be 10 candles, which is the way we do it. Why? Because the increase-decrease, well, we're doing increase because we go according to Beis Hillel, the increase is based on the Mahadran level, which is that it's not just per household, but it's per person per household. So each person has to increase. Each person has to increase. That means if there's 5 people, night number 2, there's going to be 10 candles. Night number 3, there's going to be 15 candles. Now, if there's 15 candles, no one knows which night of Chanukah it is. There's only 8 nights of Chanukah. So I'm not going to know which night of Chanukah it is. True. Every person is lighting their own menorah. Okay, so if you look at each person's menorah, then you would know which night of Chanukah it is. But if I was looking at the total number of candles, it's the point isn't to stress which night of Chanukah it is, but rather the point is to increase in light. Okay, so now I have to review. It's because it's a building. Okay, so we said the mitzvah is 1 lamp per household. The advanced level is 1 lamp per person. Mahadran and Mahadran is that we're increasing or decreasing. And then we asked, why am I increasing or decreasing? According to pin number 1, I'm increasing or decreasing because I want to know what night of Chanukah it is. Pin number 2, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me what night of Chanukah it is. I'm just interested in decreasing or increasing because of either the bulls or because I just want to increase in light. That's the main thing. Irrelevant. It's not connected to the essence of Chanukah. Then the next box was, which level do you increase or decrease? So according to opinion number 1, you increase or decrease according to the most basic mitzvah, which means that if there's 20 people in the house, it doesn't matter. Night number 2, there's only going to be 2 candles. Night number 3 is only going to be 3 candles. The second opinion says that the increase or decrease is on the Mahadran level, the advanced level. And so according to how many people in the house, each person is responsible to increase candles. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go to the second page, which has a chart. And based only on the information that we know until now, we're going to give two different scenarios. And we're going to see what your answer might be. And I did not fill it in because I want you to fill it in. First box, the one is cut off. Scenario number 1. The night is night number 2. On night number 2, for whatever reason, how many candles did you light? What does it say in the chart? 1. You made a mistake for whatever reason. Night number 2, you only lit 1 candle. Now comes night number 3. And then there's a question mark. How many candles do I light on night number 3 if I lit 1 candle on night number 2? I'm not including the shamash. No, I'm not including the shamash.
If you're going according to the base level, then you're like what?
Okay, so we're going to go according to opinion number 1 and opinion number 2. Now, we know what we do,
Right.
but there are going to be instances in halacha where there's a difference of opinion, even today, according to what we do, based on these two opinions. And then we're going to try to take a lesson from it. Okay, so according to opinion number 1, which the focus is, on top of opinion number 1, it says, mark how many days have passed. Okay, so on night number 3, how many candles should I light if I'm following opinion number 1, which is that it's very, very important for me to know how many days have passed? What do you think the answer is?
3.
The answer is 3. You could write 3. The answer is 3. On the 3rd night of Chanukah, according to opinion number 1, which is that the increase or decrease is only about the base mitzvah. So the most amount of why is it the base mitzvah? Because I want to emphasize which night of Chanukah it is. So it's not per person. It's not per person. It's just the 3rd night of Chanukah. There's going to be 3 lights in the house. And therefore, because it's so important for me to know which night of Chanukah it is, I don't want to get confused. Therefore, according to opinion number 1, it doesn't matter what I lit yesterday. It doesn't matter if the 2nd night of Chanukah I only lit 1. It doesn't matter. Today is night number 3. Opinion number 1, I'm going to light 3 candles because it's very important for me to know that tonight is night number 3. It has nothing to do with how many people are in the house. This increase or decrease is only increasing or decreasing based on the original mitzvah. If I go to opinion number 2, which is that it's not just per household, but it's per person per household, that the increase or decrease is based on per person, because the main thing that's important here is an increase of light. So if the 2nd day of Chanukah I only lit 1, how many candles is the minimum for me to light on night number 3? What do you think?
1.
2.
The answer is 2. And the reason is because the main thing I care about is an increase in light. So if yesterday I only lit 1, today, as long as I light more than yesterday, I'm good.
Saying per person per household, is that, who does that include? Girls, boys?
Okay, so so
As the base mitzvah. Right, as a base mitzvah, who does that include?
okay, so who does that include? So just to make it easier, we'll just say the man of the house or the men in the house. That's just most basic answer. But for these questions it doesn't matter. And in this particular example, it happens to be, okay, so in this particular example, if there are 10 people in the house and all 10 people, for whatever reason, only lit one candle on night number 2, as long as all these 10 people light 2 candles on night number 3, it's good enough, because the main thing that we care about is an increase in light. So as long as you increased in light, it doesn't matter what day of Hanukkah it is. Okay.
Increasing light, because every day of Hanukkah is another light, so they're both increasing.
Yes, correct. They're both increasing.
Base one, their basis is different. One is per night and one is per person. One is more than the night before.
One is yes.
Per person or more than the night before, and one is anyway by the day. It's a third night, it's a fourth night.
Correct. So if I'm going according to opinion number 1, which is that it's very, very important for me to know which night of Hanukkah it is, on night number 3, to light 2 candles, I'm not fulfilling my obligation, because the main thing is to show which night of Hanukkah it is. So I must light 3 candles. And if I don't have 3 candles, then it's best to just light 1. Go back to the base mitzvah. Because to light 2 candles is nishtahir nishtahir. You're doing nothing by 2 candles. It's not. You're not showing what day it is, so you're missing the point.
But if originally if the base mitzvah was just to light 1 candle the first night and the second night and the third night, so that is the base mitzvah.
So do the base mitzvah. Do the base mitzvah if you can't.
But you're saying that's the base mitzvah. And then you're saying that it's the base mitzvah is increase the light. So which one is it?
Oh, the base mitzvah is 1 candle per night. Then to increase or decrease, that is mahadrin mina mahadrin. That's the highest way of observing the mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
So if according to opinion number 1, which holds that the main thing is the amount that I need to mark which day of Hanukkah it is, on night number 3, it's insufficient to light 2 candles because that's wrong, because I don't know which night of Hanukkah it is. On night number 3, either according to Beis Hillel, there should be 3, or according to Beis Shammai, it should be 6.
5, 3, 8.
Okay, the
Why
first
6?
night is 8, second night is 7, third night would be 6. Okay. Okay, are we clear until now? I know it's a little bit difficult.
I was born on the 6th candle, so according to Beis Shammai, my birthday is on the 3rd night of Hanukkah. Right?
If you're born on the 6th night of Hanukkah, if you're born on
the 6th candle, I always say I was born by the 6th candle. So now
you have to say the 6th day.
that is my-
Now you have to say that you're born on the 6th day. Okay, so I already said exact scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 is as follows. Night number 1, I lit 1 candle. Night number 2, I lit 2 candles. Night number 3, what should I do if I only have 2 candles? According to opinion number 1, to light 2 candles is not accomplishing my goal. So therefore, what should I do?
You're talking about according to Beis Hillel.
Base mitzvah.
I'm not doing Beis Hillel. I'm doing opinion 1 or opinion 2.
So who's opinion 1 and who's opinion 2?
So opinion 1 is increase or decrease based opinion
on Hillel.
Hillel and Shammai. I'm not differentiating between Hillel, opinion. It's not. It doesn't matter Beis Hillel by Shammai. Beis Hillel by Shammai just matters increase or decrease.
Right.
But opinion number 1 is how many days have passed. That I need to know. I need a mark to know how many days. And opinion number 2 is I don't care about which day of Hanukkah it is. I just care about increasing holiness, or I care about decreasing because of the bulls. So according to opinion number 1, which I need to mark to know which night of Hanukkah it is, if it's night number 3, and I only have 2 candles, and I have no way of showing that tonight is night number 3. So what do you think I should do? According to opinion number 1, go back to the base mitzvah, and how many should I light? 1. So you could write 1. But if I'm following opinion number 2, which says I don't care about which night of Hanukkah it is, all I care about is increasing in holiness. And if I can't increase in holiness, at least I shouldn't decrease in holiness. So if night number 3, I say to myself, night number 2, I lit 2. Tonight, I only have 2. But you know what? Better to light 2. True, I'm not increasing, but at least I'm not decreasing. I don't care what night of Hanukkah it is. I don't care to prove which night of Hanukkah it is. So the halacha would be that you light 2 candles according to opinion number 2.
You probably would like day number 3 and day number 2, right? Wouldn't just plump them wherever you are, like, you would probably like, if you walk into the house, you know, that it's day 3. I would always find where to light 3 candles, improvise. I'm saying, but if you're in a place where you have 2 candles, like, I mean, it could happen, pardon me saying, but this is never gonna happen, or really, if you're in a hospital, let's say, right? Or you're out of town and you just have 2 candles, you just don't light them on anything, it doesn't have to be on the menorah. Exactly, so.
Okay, but you see, yeah.
Going in on this,
So you know what? It's very. You're right that it's very, very intricate. It's very intricate. And as we learned in Tanya class, we have to learn Torah on all levels. So yes, it might seem, it might seem like very nitty gritty, but this is, this is practical halacha for today. Practical.
The memory of having your candles, at least one, every night, one.
According to opinion number 1, there are 2 opinions. Okay, so we know today that we all increase. Let's just make it simple. We all follow Beis Hillel. We're follow Beis Hillel, and we follow the opinion of Mahadrin min Mahadrin, which means that we're increasing every night. But there are still 2 opinions. Opinion number 1 is that the most important thing is to mark how many days of Hanukkah it is. Night number 3, the only thing I could do is light 3 candles. If I don't light 3 candles, then I don't know which day of Hanukkah it is. So I must light 3 candles. If for some reason I don't have 3 candles, go back to the base mitzvah. That's it. But according to opinion number 2, which says that the main thing is to increase in light, I don't care what day of Hanukkah it is. So I have to increase in light, at least don't decrease in light. So if it's night number 3 and I only have 2 candles, light both candles because at least it's the same as what I did yesterday. I'm not falling behind. I'm not doing less than yesterday. So I should light 2.
Why is there no third opinion? Sorry about that. You should just light all 8 every night, because then you're doing. Because in the base of Mikdash, they lit all of them every night. The miracle lasted 8 days, so we do last 8 days.
That's a very good point.
No, really, because that's how it was in the base of Mikdash.
Because
For 8 days.
you're
right?
saying,
8 days.
you're asking why there isn't a third opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you want the third opinion to be?
That every night you should light for 8 days. Like
Like
why do you have to? Yeah, I'm sorry, they should light all of
all
them.
the candles, like they did in the Bison Mikdash.
And the last.
But they
8
did
days,
7
you
over
light
there.
it
They
for
didn't
8
do
days.
8,
They
they did
didn't do
7.
1 or 2 or 3, whatever, right.
So if you want to know the explanation according to Chassidus is because when we light a menorah, this is a massive teaching moment to everybody. And the massive teaching moment is, the massive teaching moment is that we have to ma'alim b'kodesh, that we constantly have to go higher and higher. This concept of always climbing is a very important value for ourselves and for our children, that we have to go higher and higher and not just be satisfied with the status quo. Yiddishkeit is not about everything, every day, the same thing that I get up and that's very robotic. We're not robots. We don't just do everything the same as we did yesterday. Every single day, we have to be better than yesterday. It's a teaching opportunity for everyone. And everything in Yiddishkeit, every mitzvah, the most tangible physical mitzvahs that we do, it's a most tangible way to teach us these most amazing, important lessons. So it's not about doing the same thing every day. It's about increasing in holiness. And that's the reason that these are the opinions and there isn't a third opinion.
Isn't it
Yeah.
almost like a foregone conclusion that the 1-day candle, one day doesn't make, to me, it's not so logical because the menorah has so many more candles. I mean, has so many more, spaces. So it sounds like, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like the one candle per night, even for the first night or the second night, it's not so logical because the menorah has eight.
It had 7 in the Beis Hamikdash.
Okay, so here it has 8. So even
Okay.
if you
So
say
you
seven,
see that we taka don't do it. We taka
Right.
don't do it.
because it doesn't make sense.
Because we want to do the mitzvah in the most in the most
But it almost
Either
seems
way.
like it's already predetermined because the menorah has more
Okay,
places.
okay.
You know what I mean?
But also again, when we're talking about halacha, it's important to know what the halacha is.
Mhm.
It's important to know what the halacha is so that if a person happens to only have one candle,
No, I agree with
they
you
could
there.
know that guess what? They actually did fulfill the mitzvah for whatever reason.
Right.
Okay. Now, before we go to scenario number 3, we're going to introduce a new concept. And for that, we're going to go back to the first paper. Where it says additional candles. Question. There's 2 different opinions. The question is, we're following this mahadrin min mahadrin, that we're adding additional candles. We're not just lighting, as you said, we're not just lighting one candle per night. These additional candles, what is their value? Are they equal in value to the first candle, to the base candle, to the base mitzvah? Or is it just something extra? And there are 2 different opinions. What is the value of the additional candles that we're lighting? According to opinion number 1, the additional candles have the same value as the base candle. The candles become incorporated into the mitzvah. And these candles are, and why is this? Because the amount of candles represents which day of Chanukah it is, and the candles are linked to the essence of Chanukah. So all the candles have the same value. It's not like the first candle is extra special. No, they all have the same value. All the candles become united with the mitzvah, become united with the essence of the mitzvah, and now all the candles that we took upon ourselves to add, because we're doing mahadrin and mahadrin, they all are an integral part of the mitzvah, and they're all equal in value. That's according to opinion number 1.
That's opinion of one, according to opinion of one, you don't have a low amount of candles, don't light the candles. If it's the same value, then why would you wanna at least have the value that you have? Whatever, I guess.
No, maybe I'm wrong. 1 second. No,
It's because of the numbers specifically.
according to opinion number 1, which is that the first night of Hanukkah, the opinion number 1 is that the mahadrin min mahadrin is based on per household, which means that it's 1 per household on the first night, 2 per household on the second night, and it doesn't matter how many people are in the house. So it's the increase. The increase is going back to the base mitzvah, and therefore, and whatever night number it is, if it's night number 6, the additional 5 candles that I'm lighting are all equally have the same value as the first candle. That's opinion number 1. Opinion number 2 says something else. Opinion number 2, which follows the concept of mahadrin, which is that it goes per person. If there are 5 people in the house, 5 people in the house are increasing. Okay, so if I'm going per person, then the additional candles are not linked to the essence of Chanukah. And we know that they're not linked to the essence of Chanukah because we're talking about increasing holiness, and we're talking about decreasing bulls. So the candles are not linked to the essence of Chanukah. They're not linked to the essence of the mitzvah of Chanukah. And they are related to the person and his spiritual development. So it's something that you, Chani Gurari, decided that she wants to be more from, be more special, be more spiritually higher. And I myself am taking upon myself to add extra candles, but those extra candles are something that it's my initiative, my contribution. It's all about me. I want to be more from, I want to be more special, I want to contribute more, but my contribution is not part of the essence of the mitzvah. It's something that I choose to add. Okay, so if that's the case, now we're going to go back to the chart. Scenario number 3. It's night number 3. And I only had 1 candle. So I lit it. Why did I light it? Because at least I'm fulfilling the base mitzvah. What happens is someone walks in after and brings more candles or brings more oil. What should I do? Should I add another 2? It's night number 3. I only lit 1. Should I add more? And can I make a bracha? Should I make another bracha? Should I make another bracha? So there are 2 opinions. Opinion number 1, which is I have to mark how many days have passed, and the candles are one in essence with the mitzvah. Then what do you think I should do? Should I make another bracha?
Yeah.
Yes. I make another bracha, and I light 2 more, because these 2 extra candles, it's not an additional thing that I decided, a cherry on the top, that I'm so good and so from and extra special that I decide that I want to add, that I'm doing more. No, the extra 2 candles, they're not extra. It's an integral part of the mitzvah, and therefore make a new bracha and light the other 2. So opinion number 1 is light 2 more
With a bracha.
with a bracha. And there's a concept called chefza. There's chefza and there's gavra. Chefza comes from chefza is it's integral. It's part of it's part of the object. And therefore I have to light 2 more candles with a bracha. But according to opinion number 2, what's according to opinion number 2, which is that the candles don't have, if I'm doing more or less, has nothing to do with which night of Chanukah it is. I just care about increasing or decreasing. And the whole thing, it's all, the additional candles, it's all gavra. It's about the person. The person wants to do more. The person wants to increase. The person wants to be extra from, extra special, extra great.
What is that one?
Gavra is the person, gever, like a man. It's a personal thing. Yes. So if it's a gavra, I lit 1 candle with a bracha. You come in later and bring 2 more. There is no, I'm not going to, if I want to light 2 more, I can light 2 more, but no, I'm not making a new bracha, because the extra 2 candles is an additional thing that out of the goodness of my heart, I decided that I want to volunteer. And therefore, there is no bracha, because those 2 extra candles don't have the same value as the first one. It's not an integral part of the mitzvah. It's just my addition. So in that box, I would write no.
When you finish davening, I would like to go to pay the caterer and return the gown, okay?
Okay.
Do you have?
Okay. So if we think we're done, we're not done. Now we're going to go back. You see, it says 2. I don't know if it's crossed out. The 4th box is not scenario number 4. I'm going back to scenario number 2 with my new information of the chefza gavra. with hefza or hefza means that the hefza means that the additional candles are part of the mitzvah. It's in essence, it's an integral part of the mitzvah. Versus gavra, it depends on the person. The person wants to do more, wants to volunteer, wants to do extra.
It's elective.
Elective. Okay, so now that I have this information of are the additional candles part of the mitzvah or extra, I'm going back to scenario 2, and it's going to change. What I thought is going to change. Let's go back to it's box number 4, but it's really situation number 2.
Back and forth on this, on the chart.
On this one. Okay. Night number 1, I lit 1. Night number 2, I lit 2. Night number 3, I only have 2 candles. What should I do?
So you like this
Back to
too.
1. Unless.
No, the first
Okay,
one.
so I thought I should only light 1 because and just go according to the base mitzvah. But now that I understand that the candles are not extra, it's an integral part of the mitzvah. So if I have 2, light 2. Do the best that you can. Why? Because the candles are part of the mitzvah. Okay, I'll go back. What's up?
That's like dots, little dots.
Little dots. Okay, so let me give a spoiler alert. Let me explain where I'm going. The question is, what is my motive when I do a mitzvah? When I do a mitzvah, how much of me, how much ego is involved? And how much am I doing it only for the right reasons, only for Hashem? What? Only increase. I mean, for now, wait, there's going to be decrease soon. Hold it. Okay. Okay, so if when I do a mitzvah, I am completely batal to Hashem, I am fully in. Hashem, I love you. I want to do your will. It's not about me. There is no me here. So when I come to perform this mitzvah, even if I'm not there yet, even if I'm not perfect, even if I'm very far from perfect, I'm going to give you Hashem. I'm going to give you my all. Whatever I have, I'm going to give you because every single candle is it's an integral part of the mitzvah. So it's night number 3. I really want to light 3 candles, but I only have 2. But those 2 so I'm not going to light 1, which is the base mitzvah, because I have a little bit more that I could contribute. I have a little bit more that I could give. I'm not there yet, Hashem. But you know what? I'm going to give you whatever I have. And therefore, although before we said just do 1, now that I learned a new thing, that the additional candles are an integral part of the mitzvah, they have the same value as the first candle. If I have 2, give Hashem whatever you have. You're not perfect. You're not there. And there's no, and I'm not going to even know which night of Chanukah it is because it's really light number 3, not light number 2. Light number 2. Light 2. Because that second candle is an integral part of the mitzvah. So do whatever you can. If it's all about Hashem and it's all about fulfilling the mitzvah and there's no ego involved, then do 2.
Now, let other people know what the night is, and by doing that, you are confusing it, or sort of making it kill Hashem, so if you work out that factor.
So that's why originally we said, if I can't prove how many nights of Hanukkah it is, then just light 1. That's what we thought. And you have a point there. But now we learned something new. And we learned a new thing. And now the halacha that we thought was one way, now we see a different picture. Now that we know that candle number 2 is an integral part of the mitzvah according to opinion number 1, you gotta light it. And you have to forfeit You have to forfeit the fact that someone might not know which night of Hanukkah it is. So in that box, I would write, if I only have 2 candles, 2. And you can highlight it and decorate it and make decorations and stars around it, because this is a big chidush. This is the new thing, because we just had this scenario 2 boxes ago and we said 1. And now we're changing our tune because we learned something new, that every single candle is an integral part of the mitzvah. Yes. Chani, you want to say something?
I was thinking, but.
Go ahead.
Is that, and you really think that everyone in the household, ladies and men, should really be lighting candles? Where only, you did.
Go ahead.
And where we are, most of us here, I think, the ladies don't light.
Correct.
So now I got my husband a new menorah and he goes, you want to light on the other menorah? And I'm like, no. And then now I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, we talked about that. That we don't, because men are part of the women are part of men.
Yeah, the husband, just like what the husband puts on tefillin, whatever schar he gets, his wife gets too, because she's she's the other half of his neshama. So whatever he does for her and she does for him. And if for some reason the man is not home, he's in business somewhere, he's in China, then the woman has to light, because the women were part of the miracle, a big part of the miracle.
My house.
But if it's not just at my house, I have something. You have a mitzvah to light. There's a mitzvah for the woman to light if the man is not home, because the women were an integral part of the mitzvah. They're just that the men are including the woman in their mitzvah. But really, Chanukah was even more a problem for the women than for the men. Now, this we don't learn in elementary school, and maybe we don't even learn it in high school. But I only learned it when I did research about Chanukah, not to teach a women's class about Chanukah. And what happened was, in those days, the decree was more on the women than the men. Anytime a couple got married, the night of their wedding, the Kala had to submit herself to a Greek general before she went home with her husband. And what happened was that either was Yehudis or it was Yehudis' relative. It was the night of her wedding. And talking about tznius, she ripped her gown. She ripped her gown in front of everyone. And she said, you have to do something. I have to go now and submit myself to a Greek to a Greek general. You got to do something. And that's what propelled the men to go fight, because the women's purity was at stake. And Yehudis did what she did, and she killed the general, the cheese and the wine. So the women were an integral part of the miracle, and they were the ones that were suffering the most.
This might be a silly question. It kind of is silly when I'm thinking about
No
it.
silly question.
But if they don't have enough candles for, let's say, the 3rd night, right? They don't have candles. What's going to be the next one? They don't have enough for 2. If they don't have enough, then who's taking the hemshah? And candles. I use them up the 1st night, the 2nd night, the 3rd night. Now I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're getting a scenario, but in many ways, to me, it's a little bit illogical.
On the other hand,
What were they going to do the next one? They were going to go and scrounge?
yeah.
I guess so.
And that was the question. And you know what? That was the question. Okay, excellent question. Okay. What's your name again? Okay. Devorah is asking a very good question. She's saying, in all honesty, if tonight is night number 3 and you only have 2 candles, what's going to happen night number 4? And you know what? The Yidden had this same question. When they found only 1 jug of olive oil, they said, why even bother? We only have 1. We only have 1. We have enough for 1 night. But Yidden, we are above nature. And even if today I only have 2 candles, I believe, we all believe, we have the emunah and the bitachon that Hashem could give us a night number 4 candles and much, much more. We're above, we said the sword could be at your neck, and we still trust in Hashem, that Hashem could do anything. So we're above what makes sense. We're above limitations. Even if a person is in trouble, they still have the belief that tomorrow, the situation will be wonderful. The Yeshua will come. Yes.
So Connie puts out candles here and there, I take stuff, Razy empties out cabinets, I take stuff, okay? And then I have 2 homes, so you know how you never know what's in the other home? And I am ready to light candles, so I put my light on the table at 12 o'clock, but I did not put the candles out, I don't know why. And then when I got to lighting the candles, there were no candles. And then I'm rummaging and I found Connie candles. So I had my 2 candles and then I went out and bought stuff on Sunday, so.
Wow.
It happens. It happened to us too. It happened to us too. We didn't have tea lights. And I went to the box downstairs where we have the kits, the Shabbos candle kits, and I took candles from the Shabbos candle kits because for some reason we ran out. It does happen. And it's close to Shabbos, and you know, you never know. Always good to have candles.
When I say Shema, I never understood what Ibachol Me'edecha means. And now I understand. It means give whatever you can.
Yes.
Like many times I don't have courage to daven, or if I'm not feeling well, daven whatever I can.
Yes.
You don't have to finish if you can.
Doesn't have to be
Just
all or
get
nothing.
right.
Doesn't have to be all or
Doesn't have to
nothing.
be all.
That is exactly the point of the class. It's not all or nothing. Why? Okay, so we're gonna take that further. Okay, but let's go back to our scenario. Our scenario was night number 3. I only have 2 candles. According to if the candles are intrinsically part of the mitzvah, the additional candles are part of the mitzvah, then light whatever you have. If the candles are not intrinsically part of the mitzvah, it's what Chani Garari decided to add. It's the gavra, it's the person. It's about my spiritual development. Then, if I only have 2 candles, I could light 2 candles only because I lit 2 yesterday, so at least I'm not decreasing in holiness.
So basically, it turns out to be the same thing as opinion 1.
But wait,
Okay.
I'm going to write 2, but wait. What happens if tonight is night number 8? Yesterday was night number 7, and I lit 7 candles. Tonight is night number 8, and in the box, I don't know if it's cut off, it says I only have 6.
Mm-hmm.
Night number 8, I only have 6, and yesterday I lit 7.
Teaches us all to get yourself organized and not ready.
But we're here to learn a lesson. We're here to learn a lesson. We're learning Gemara, guys. You can go home and tell your husbands that you learned Gemara. Okay. So, according to opinion number 1,
The 4th box, number 2.
I'm 2 only because yesterday I lit 2. So I'm not increasing, but at least I'm not decreasing, which was the same as before. It's very, very hard.
I'm just like,
Okay, but
it's very hard for me to like connect, so I'm like, you know what? It's like, I like Gemara, but different type of Gemara.
okay, so I'm gonna
Different type of things that pertain more to me. No, it's very good, but I'm saying, I think for me, it's part of, no, it's me. Give me
okay.
grace.
So let me finish, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna see if we can figure it out.
Gemara, but more things that like more interest, like more like issues, like I guess that's what it is. Like, just typing this up.
Don't give up yet. It's not all or nothing.
Double check that. Double listen and check that.
Okay, we're almost done. We're almost
No, I like getting out of them. Just saying,
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see if we follow. I'm like,
It's hard. It is hard. It is hard. I agree with you. Okay. Now, it's night number 8. I only have 6 candles. If I'm following the opinion that every single candle is essential to the mitzvah and intrinsically connected to the mitzvah, if I have only 6, what should I do?
Then you light all 6.
Light all 6. And I'm filling that in the box. However, if the additional candles is all about me, the gavra, what I want to contribute, what I want to be extra from, extra special,
Just like one.
then I just light one.
So how do you rule practically?
One.
Why?
Because that's.
I light one. I light one. That's the right answer. Bingo. Why do I light one? Because yesterday I lit 7. So if I'm going to light 6, I'm decreasing from yesterday and I can't decrease. So better just do one.
And then you're right back to the basements.
And then you're back to the basement, which is exactly the point. If it's about me,
You said just simply your stuff, if you said decrease, just do one. Sounds like bullshit.
yes, yes. But let's understand what that
How you
means.
got there, but like really, that's what it is.
Okay, so but let's understand what's the lesson. We're done with the chart. You could close off the math break.
Yeah, I have a math grade, that's really meant, never go to math. I'm more philosophy.
This really isn't math. This is not math.
I know, but I was saying, I just get into numbers, I'm like, I check out.
Okay, but let's and the teaching ends here. The teaching ends here, and it doesn't give a lesson. But we're gonna take a lesson. We're gonna bring this home. Yeah.
How do you know? Let you only have 6, you have to really think about why you're doing it.
Just do one.
Well, it depends which. Okay, great question. So it depends which opinion. Okay, so it depends which opinion you're following. So that's a great question.
So these are not ascribed. These opinions are not ascribed to.
So one is the Rambam and one is the Tosfos. Guess what? We follow the Rambam. So the answer is you would light all 6, which is brilliant and going to totally prove our point. The answer is, according to the Rambam, the Psak Din today is give Hashem everything that you have. That's the final answer.
Like the most you can.
If according to a different opinion, if you follow a different opinion, which we don't follow, then you would only do one. But we would give it all you've got. So what's the lesson here? The lesson here is like this, and we said this before. If it's about Hashem, if it's about fulfilling the essence of the mitzvah, and there's only Hashem in the picture and no ego, then if I'm not able to give 100%, if I'm not able to be perfect, do whatever you can. I don't know who was able to listen, but this Matzei Shabbos, there was a Farbrengen in Crown Heights in honor of Yutes Kislev. And a shlucha, Sarah Blooming, who's very loved by everyone, she stood up and she spoke. And she said that for many, many years, she was the perfect Rebbitzin. She had the best Hebrew school, the best women's programs. I actually remember one year by the Kinos, it was Matzah Shabbos, it was an event, and there's thousands of shluchos in the room. They gave Sarah Blooming, I don't know if it was an award, I don't know if it was a gift. They singled her out from all the shluchos. And they gave her a gift or an acknowledgement. I think I don't remember if it was on a piece of paper that they got the acknowledgement. If it was a gift, maybe it was both, because she not only did she have the most amazing Hebrew school and the most amazing Jewish women's circle, she shared everything with everyone. Everyone knows Sarah Blooming. Everyone knows her. And she worked so hard preparing shiurim. She would email you. She would give you the whole class typed up. And this is when I was first on shluchos, when not everything was so accessible. She gave freely everything. Her Hebrew school stuff, everything she gave, and she got awarded for it. And she was like the shlucha that, that the hero shlucha that everyone could just aspire to. And she stands up and she speaks and she says, for many, many years, I was the perfect Rebbitzin, the perfect shlucha. And then one day, the walls of perfection just crumbled. And I thought that I had to hide it. One son went to the army, and another son and another child had anxiety, and her perfect walls, the perfect walls, came crashing down. And instead of hiding it, she was explaining October 7th, and her son was in Gaza, and the tears and the worry, and she made a support group for all the other shluchos who have sons in the army, and all the incredible goodness that and all the incredible goodness that came out of it, that when she had a person in her community who she never would dare approach them, oh, would you go to the mikveh? She'd say, could you please go to the mikveh to give my son a schus, because he's in Gaza fighting. And no one could say no to a mother, a shlucha, whose son is fighting in the front lines. So how many countless prayers, how many countless mitzvahs all happened because her son chose to go to the army, which was the most imperfect thing. How could her children not be perfect? But she is a true servant of Hashem. And therefore, whatever she has, every card she has, she's going to give to Hashem. But if it's about my image, if it's about me, my charity, my greatness, my spiritual development, which if it doesn't have anything to do with a mitzvah, it's all about my honor and how people are going to view me, then guess what? As long as you're Ma'ilin B'Kodesh, as long as you're able to increase or keep status quo, which means that at least you have some sort of humility because you're not happy with where you are. You're always trying to climb higher and higher. Fine. But a second you're about to decrease, what you need to do, if it's about you and your ego and your image, best advice, go back to the base mitzvah and realize who you're serving.
Just a curious question for halacha.
Yeah.
You only have X amount of oil. I mean, in those days, everybody used oil. This business candles is a newer thing. So why not use, was there ever a case where instead of lighting a full, little pot, you take half here and mishlep and you spread it out so that you have enough. And then the miracle is that these should last for the 20 minutes.
So you're asking such a good question. There's a whole teaching about it.
Because that doesn't that make
what
sense?
Was the miracle? Okay,
Right.
if you want to go there, okay, I have to brush up
But
on that
is the
teaching.
miracle is that a little bit lasted for a long time. So
I'll tell you what the miracle was. There's different opinions about what the miracle was. Okay, question. The miracle is for 8 days, right?
Mhm.
Even though they had enough oil for 1 day. So really the miracle should only have been 7 days.
Right.
Because 1 day we already had enough oil. That's question number one. And we know that when you light the menorah, you have, at least at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, you had to light the full cup.
Mhm.
You couldn't spread it thin.
Mhm.
You had to fill all the cups.
Okay.
Do you know what the miracle was by Chanukah? There are different opinions. One opinion is that every night they filled up all 8 lamps the first night, and each night 1/8. It got diminished by 1/8. But that wouldn't be correct because every night it has to be full to the top.
Right.
So it's a miracle that every night got refilled. But the ultimate answer to that is that what happened was something impossible. Nimna minham nimnois, just like the Aron Kodesh takes up place and doesn't take up place. What happened, the miracle of Chanukah is, and the first night they lit all 8, and it burnt and didn't burn at the same time, like the sneh. It lit, but nothing was diminished. And that's why the miracle is for 8 full days.
I like that answer.
Okay, that's another teaching of the
I
Rebbe.
think it's a good answer.
Okay. How would I do that in a visual? You light 8. No, please.
If I had a course, like underneath my argue, would it be, number 1 have the leaves and then 2 have a little more?
No. If you were in the Beis Hamikdash, there were 7 branches. You were in the Beis Hamikdash at the time of the Chanukah miracle when the menorah lit, when they had found 1 jug of oil and it lasted for 8 days. You would come to the Beis Hamikdash and you would look at it. For 7 days, you would see for 7 days, you would see all 7 cups filled to the top, burning, meaning that it's lit, and no oil is getting less. The oil is not getting less. Only on the 8th night, only on the 8th day did the oil get less and less and less. Only on the 8th day did it start diminishing.
7. In the basement, it's only lit 7, but because only the 8th day.
Were they able to get new
That's
oil?
why-
That's why we celebrate for 8 days.
Say because the basement, they only lit 7.
But what was the whole union of 8 anyway?
8 represents Mashiach. 7 represents nature. When Mashiach comes, it's a David HaMelech had a harp with 7 strings. When Mashiach comes, it'll be 8. 8 is above nature. 7 is the days of the week. 7 is nature. 8 is above. 8 is Mashiach. Okay, but going back to our lesson, I just want to okay, I'll get personal because I got personal in Tanya class, but I'll get personal again, and then I'll regret it. Okay, but going back to what we discussed on Wednesday, right? What?
Yes. you'll do the same
Oh,
thing.
no. So I'm saying that's exactly the point. That's the point. Every week for 4.5 years, the Garari family has produced a kids video. Okay, this past week there was no kids video. Now, you know why? Because this past week I gave it my all and I couldn't have a kids video. But now comes the question. If it's about my image and my ego, right? Okay, I didn't do it 1 week. I lost the race. The walls of perfection crumbled. I'm finished. I lost. I'm a failure. That's one option. The next option is to say, you know what? If I'm doing it for the right reasons, not for my ego, not for me because it makes me feel good, not because it's a creative outlet, but if I'm doing it for the right reasons, then the weeks that I do have time, I could still, then I give Hashem my all. And therefore, if I do have time, even if I didn't do it last week, if I do have time this week, since I'm giving Hashem my all, I could still do it. It doesn't matter if I failed last week or if I couldn't do it last week.
Yeah, but before this week, you didn't do it. You went through this powerful, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. Now already your attitude is, if I have time next week, I'll do it.
Why? Because you have to go back to one candle. You have to go back to the drawing board and you have to ask yourself, go back to the base mitzvah and ask yourself, who am I serving? Am I serving Hashem or am I serving Chanukah Garari? And that's a good question. And you know what the answer is? The answer is, if you look at the future weeks, if I don't do any more videos, then you know that for 4.5 years, I was serving myself. If
Serving yourself. You were pushing it. You were really pushing it. Really, whatever.
But how can I prove?
Well, for some reason, you short and you realize I don't have the time. I can't pull myself in all directions. Even if it was for Hashem, maybe you got a zillion texts. Where was the video? Where was the video? So you'll really know that people really wanted it. But I'm just wondering. So like next week,
I don't know. I don't know what will be next week. But if I gave it up totally, then you would know that it was never for the right reasons in the beginning. But if it could be that for 5-6 months I wouldn't do it. But as long as one day I would continue, then that would show that what I did before was for the right reasons.
Maybe certain times of life are different. I don't know if it's so black and white.
Yeah.
I look at it like there's a certain point where always pulling at you. You realize at this point that your kids need you more, and now what doesn't mean that they're separated from you before. You get more opportunity, and now you're in this stage, and there's different stages of life. It's not like about. I get it. Right, so don't negate the fact that you, let's say you never do it again, doesn't take away that you didn't do it the right reason before.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too hard.
So there could be other things that they need to before it goes to Hashem that are more.
And then,
important. That's you have to always balance.
right. So it means that it's the
It
right.
doesn't take away what you did before.
Okay. So basically the point is, you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what does Hashem want from
You
you?
have to do it automatically, test it out, like, what to yourself, right, on yourself, so now we're doing it.
Thanks for the.
So you really go back to yourself, you can do someone else. You're walking back to others and you want to yourself.
Correct.
Sometimes it's about shaking things up.
Yeah.
You can't always
But you
do
can advise
everything in
yourself
house. Maybe you were doing it too much, you know, that it was already not satisfying. But you're also a person. You want to have a, you know, that it's not really resonating anymore.
So
So
that-
that's how someone else came to you.
Yeah.
friends, or you say,
No, of
"Oh,
course not, friend. I would say don't
so
do it.
that's do yourself."
Yeah, I think we're harsh. I'm harsh with myself.
Yeah, you're harder than, everybody's harder than himself.
Yeah,
And of course, you need to be responsible, but you still do it yourself a little more compassion. That's judgment.
yeah. But ultimately, the question is that we have to always make sure that we're on the right track.
Yeah.
The question we have to ask ourselves is to go back to the essence of the mitzvah, to ask ourselves, what does Hashem want from me? And if we could answer that question, then we're on the right path.
Woman that dappens every week, and she doesn't miss the column, and then stop in a few weeks and.
So leave that more, I think also, could very well be that maybe circumstances she won't be able to do it.
Exactly.
But if her desire is still to want to do it.
Okay,
If
that's
that
okay,
desire is still on fire, that means you did intentionally correct.
right.
If circumstances, for whatever reason.
Yeah, but like, because he has desire, but also if he doesn't mean it doesn't mean it wasn't for the right reason, the desire goes away. I still.
Why can't it be that did something for the right reasons and then, and
I don't know, just that life can be different and desire became more strong in different areas.
I'll tell you why.
It's only strong because you can't do it right away. And the other things.
So we spoke about this also, like, you know, with, Right.
She desired to do it, but she can't do it.
Doing as much.
okay, so we spoke about this also last time. We're all juggling balls. There are some balls that are bouncy balls and some balls that are glass balls. Bouncy balls we can let go of and we can pick them up when we're ready to. So the thing is, because truth, emes, is constant. So if you want to know that something is really emestic, if something is really true, then it wouldn't come to an end.
And you say the word, like, very excited, the Shabbat, it's 100% genuine, that is what I fully believe, fully understood. Not that it wasn't true, so now we look at it.
Why did,
He was fully,
because the body, why did you?
But it's.
So again, in the life. So it's a big
When they're young, like, they're not as. Doesn't mean they weren't genuine, they were, and then they.
But my desire.
We learned in Tanya this past week, we learned in Tanya that we were talking about loving Hashem.
But you.
And we said, why does a person do a mitzvah? And we said different reasons why a person would do a mitzvah. So a person could do a mitzvah because I love you, meaning I love Hashem, right? But it's really, they don't realize, but it's really self-love. Why am I doing the mitzvah? Because it feels good for me. And also because it makes me feel good when I do a mitzvah. Or even if it doesn't make me feel good to do a mitzvah, I'm sacrificing for Olam Haba. It's going to be good for me later. So it's I love you, but it's really, it seems like I love you Hashem, but it's really self-love. But let me just finish my point. But if we truly love Hashem, then we won't fall.
I think you could, because it takes constant work. You could truly love Hashem, whatever, and then as you do more mitzvahs, you get closer to Hashem, whatever, and as you do less, you feel the connection less and less. You could do mitzvahs 100%, and you really do love Hashem, not for yourself and whatever. Then at a certain point, you have less energy, your desire is not strong, whatever it is, and you lose the connection. You feel less. I don't think it wasn't genuine.
Okay, so so I agree with you that it was genuine. It is genuine.
If you're going up or down.
It is genuine as long as at every moment of your life, you try to give Hashem your all. If at this moment I have less energy and I can't perform like I did before, that's fine. As long as whatever I do have, I'm giving to Hashem.
Also, sometimes you don't.
And then it could be that before I got married, I said chitas every single day. And you know what? Since I got married, I try. Sometimes yes, sometimes more. So how do I know the effort and desire is still there? So how do I know that the chitas that I said when I was 19 and 18 and 17 and 16 that was genuine? Is because as soon as I will, right now I try to give Hashem my all, and giving Hashem my all doesn't include saying chitas at this moment for whatever reason. But if there will come a time, and in Mirza Hashem there will come a time that I will say chitas, then that will prove that as long as the day comes that and it could be just one. You see, that's our mistake. Our problem is that comes today, and today I have time for one part of chitas. If I all or nothing. So if I say it and I give Hashem my all, then everything I did was genuine until now. But if I say, you know what, there's no point because they have these WhatsApp groups chitas WhatsApp groups that when you finish saying the chitas, you write done. So, but I can't write done on the chitas WhatsApp group because I only said one part of it. Maybe I could and just say I did one part. But I'm saying if I didn't, that's the thing. The all or nothing thing is really the Yetzer Hara. But as long as and the Yetzer Hara could say, listen, it's all or nothing. Either you do it or you don't. You fell off the race, you fell off the wagon, too bad on you, that's it. People will forget about it. They'll move on. They'll forget that you made videos and they'll move on and it's fine. And or you could say, it's not all or nothing. It's not all or nothing, as long as I give Hashem my all.
Mothers don't realize that you're a mother, so you're doing stuff all the time. You make you brother with your kids. You're teaching them a little. Yesterday, I gave some Chanukah gal that said, about Meiser. So we grew up, I knew about Meiser, and I was reading. You really have to tell your kids about Meiser when they're very little, so they need to understand as they got older. He was about 8. And he kind of like snubbed me on it, you know what I mean? And then you have some kids who rightfully know that from $10 they have to give $1, And I said, about my son? And he just walked away. Not my kid, it's okay. I'm sure he's gonna give Meiser when he has to, and that's it. So every day that you're with your children, your family, you interact with people, you are doing stuff that you almost don't even realize. Like now, Kara just told me, I gave out those candles. She goes, was it for you, Fem? I said, it wasn't for me because, it wasn't anything. I didn't even know. It flew out of my mouth, right? And then what I needed to do was go back. So that was a real thing. That wasn't for me because I had to drive 20 minutes. I could have just said,
absolutely.
Forget the stupid sale. My mother has enough stuff. What do I need? The 50% off. And I left it there anyway, okay? I didn't take it with me to do an adjustment or anything. So that was that. The bonus was when she sent me this letter or this card was like, oh, now I have to bring Chanukah candles,
Absolutely.
You just go to the next step by not realizing what the response is or whatever. So it's not me. I feel I did this mitzvah, but it's really no sweat off my back.
But we see we have two souls. We have two souls. We have a godly soul, a nefesh elokis, and we have a nefesh habam. It's an animal soul. The animal soul is all about, what makes me feel good. But we have a godly soul. And the godly soul wants to do it only for the right reasons. So yes, we all have the ability to serve Hashem fully and for the right reasons. Yes.
That you do, or the bigger things you're aware of. Little things you don't even realize how, wow,
Be more content the little things
that this is what you did, and it wasn't really about you,
Because
say that something you fall. Like if you don't keep working on yourself, me. If I don't keep working on myself, I fall. It doesn't mean that till now wasn't genuine. It just means that right now I'm struggling. It means that.
But I think everybody's always struggling.
We're all in the process. All process growth, but we're all in the process. And we have to understand sometimes what we do doesn't negate the process that we were in at that point. There we go. It's like,
you're so welcome.
we all have that. We're not all in the place.
That's for every other year.
You know why? It's like the game of chutes and ladders, right?
Exactly.
You go up as much as you can, and then sometimes there's a slide and you fall down. But as long as you don't give up, As long as you're ready to continue to playing the game, then it is genuine. What? What are the crystal balls? Number one is self-care and our family. Those two, our husband, our children, and ourselves. That's the 3 crystal balls that you can't drop. And everything else you'll pick up when you can. And sometimes we fall, but we don't fall and give up. We fall and we know that that we fell and we're gonna try to. Sometimes it might take
What if you do have a moment of giving up and then you I'm saying sometimes you do give up. You don't really. I'm saying sometimes you give up and then
and then you pick yourself up, then you stand up. So the second you stood up, you proved that your relationship with Hashem is, we fall. We have a Yitzhara. Like what? Like what?
That's me questioning that. It's like you're being genuine and being honest is one thing, and then you have your passions. It doesn't take away or rub away or shade away or remove it. It still stays there for you. That's what I'm sharing.
100%. 100%.
Situation, what are you talking about?
So like for me, I hate to talk about myself, but with my campus activism. It is 24/7. I haven't worked in 4.5 months. I haven't made a penny. I'm doing it to serve Hashem. I don't want to do it anymore. I really don't. I want to go back to making some money. I want to do it part-time and help as much as I can. But there's no part-time with it.
It's like you're
either I have
sucked
to
into
give-
it?
it's either
Maybe it's
all
the
or
math.
nothing.
But you shut up for a phone.
Can I ask
So I don't, but I wanna serve Hashem, but I also wanna be realistic, and I feel like, so how, can I give up?
This is exactly what we're discussing. No, we should not give up. Yes. Yes. No. Because
That you feel the question will work out.
if you have a rubber band, and you pull 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 until it breaks, and then you can't.
That they
So-
won't have partial either. They'll have nothing.
The party wants to stop. And did I do it in the past for Hashem or for myself? I did it for Hashem.
You did do it for Hashem, 100%. And the way that you're going to prove that you did it for Hashem is that even when you can't do it all the time, you're still going to do it when you can. And that's how you prove. That's how you prove that you're in it for the right reasons. You might have a yes.
Like
results are not in your hand. Your job is but in your
effort.
Yeah.
Hashem will.
You're not a good driver. You don't want to smack it.
Tanya says, if she says part of it.
Yes. Yes. It's in the effort, 100%. 100%.
So my effort also, until they say that I'm not giving enough, we need somebody else.
Yeah, do the best you can.
And you know what? Because that's how it is. That's the nature of things. We start a project, and then we start a project, and it was very small.
Yeah.
And the bar gets higher and higher and higher and higher. Like the videos, like many other things that I did in my life. The bar gets so high until you're ready to plots, and then you plot.
So you know what that's called? I was reading about that. It's called burn.
Then you have to go back to the basic and say, why was I doing this in the first place? And if I was doing it for Hashem, then now I'll give Hashem whatever I can, because now Hashem wants me to give some of my time to something else, or to give something to give my time to something that I neglected because I was so busy with this. So we have to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate and say, Hashem, I am here to serve you. I'm not here to serve myself. I'm here what do you want from me? How can I give you my all? And whatever that is, we're not gonna perform every single day the same exact way, the same exact level. We're not going to. We're not. You're so welcome. But the guilt, but the guilt is also from the evil inclination. Devorah wants to tell you something. Devorah has something to tell you.
Talking about the concept of burnout, that you have to accept also, there's a concept of burnout, and also we learned from the story of Korah, where Hashem says, not as, in other words, you can do this. You've been doing this, let's say, on very, very high intensity for a long time. Maybe you have a burnout. Maybe this is infringing on your ability to do other mitzvahs. In other words, if this is taking
Thank you for telling
of your time, then maybe it's time to pass it over to somebody else to do, and you should start doing a little bit more self-care. There's nothing wrong with that.
She wasn't as
You're-
committed.
why not?
When you work all day, and
And I tried,
you tend to
and we
master
tried.
your entire day.
So they have to learn.
That's a good
In order to
episode.
get, like,
Yes.
they have to, you know what I'm saying? For me, I was just. She has
Lots
to
of
earn.
money. You know how many foreign there are about women, how many connections there are about women earning money.
Anyway.
There are lots of money.
When somebody wants to quit, they said that ever said,
No, who said she got free?
you said, "Oh, I have money that
I like to learn,
you're
like
going
to
to
do whatever I'm doing.
and you'll be able to
I'm
give
able
more
to time.
clarity.
Because when I see.
But you have an obligation to take care of yourself also. You do have a right to take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's a minute of a take for you. Yeah.
But you're, that's what I'm saying, though, no, what?
Yeah.
So that concept, well, there's a pole, but I'm not really guilty.
Well, guilty is not a productive emotion. You have to analyze.
So again, so you say to the partner of Torah or to the person in charge of it, you say, you know what, nights, don't say what I could do. Nights aren't working for me, but I could do during the day. Maybe there's a different partner of Torah that wants to with me at 9 a.m. or at a time when then I could do it. So always ask yourself, instead of saying what I can't do, instead of giving up because I can't do this on this high intensity anymore, what could I yes do?
And you're, oh, you can get there. I'm not a fucking eye.
You give Hashem what you could.
Yes. Monday, Thursday, and Friday.
Wow.
I wrote this the best Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and he became very, very, very weak. And he couldn't. Yeah, till
Wow.
he couldn't stop, and he used to tell everybody else, don't. It's not, whatever he used to say, this generation shouldn't fast, we're not strong enough. He couldn't stop anymore. After a lifetime of doing it, he till he was extremely sick. Unfortunately, he passed, but he was the holiest person and. Lifter. And now his son.
The most important thing, I think the most important lesson of all of this, I think the most important lesson of this is what you said. It's not all or nothing. And that's where the eighth horror comes in very hard. And that's where OCD comes in, these machinations of the eighth horror to try to make you feel.
And I didn't respond to your message, but thank you for the brachos and the.
I got.
Yes, yes.
So
Let me just turn this off, then I can talk.
Second, I made it past.